Good evening. Good evening and welcome to this September 11th special city council meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order, but first, before we begin the agenda, I'd like to take a moment of silence to recognize all the people who were lost on September 11th, 2001, but also all those people who have been lost been victims of senseless violence. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. At this time, I ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilman Campopiano.
Present.
Councilman Bonanno.
Present.
Councilwoman Graziano.
Present.
Councilwoman Horoyan.
Present.
Councilman Andujar.
Present.
Councilman Ritz.
Present.
Councilman Trafficante.
Present.
Council President Wall.
Here. At this time, I'm going to entertain a motion to take the agenda out of order.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? There being none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Campopiano.
Yes.
Councilman Bonanno.
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Horoyan.
Yes.
Councilman Andujar.
Yes.
Councilman Ritz.
Yes.
Councilman Trafficante.
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes. The first item we're going to consider is under new business. It would be the appointment of Amelia Vizzeri to the city council as a citywide member, filling the vacancy that was created by the resignation of citywide councilwoman Jessica Marino. This is pursuant to the city charter section 2.06 titled vacancies. I would look for a motion to approve. Councilwoman Horoyan.
I would like to make a motion to approve this and nominate Amelia Vizzeri for the appointment of the city council citywide seat.
Is there a second?
I'd like to second that, Mr. Chairman.
That motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? I see Councilman Bonanno's hand up.
Yes, I just want to relish in the last 25 seconds that I'm the youngest member of this body.
Enjoy it, Councilman.
Thank you very much.
Would any other member of the council, Councilman Trafficante?
Yes, I just want to make a comment about Amelia. She certainly has the most impressive resume, both academically, certainly professionally. But what I consider most important is extensive community service. That's what being a councilman is all about, community service, serving the people in your particular ward or at large. But let me give you some sound advice. When in doubt, you speak to your mother. Because Emily has extensive community service going back to 1990 when I first was introduced to her as a young attorney. She served my administration quite well during those years, and I wish you well as a councilwoman in the future, now and in the future.
Thank you, Councilman. Would any other council member like to make a comment this evening? I see none. I just would like to add my own 2 cents on this. I have known this candidate, Amelia Vizzeri, and her family for a number of years. I'm proud to support her nomination for this appointment tonight. Listen, we all looked over your resume. Amelia is well-educated. She's got a degree in, I believe it's marketing, MBA. She also runs her own consulting business, has a fine position with local business. She was a great athlete at Cranston West and still is involved in athletics with coaching, and she's also involved in various community organizations. She certainly brings a skill set that I think we'll benefit from on the council. She'll definitely be an asset. But even bigger than that, coming to know her, that she's a person who believes in public service, in giving back. So I certainly will be in favor of your appointment this evening, Amelia. If there is nothing more, I'm going to ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilman Campopiano.
Yes.
Councilman Bonanno.
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Horoyan.
Yes.
Councilman Andujar.
Yes.
Councilman Ritz.
Yes.
Councilman Trafficante.
Yes,
Council President Wall.
Yes, congratulations. So I'm going to ask. Amelia, I'm going to ask you to come up and be sworn in by the clerk.
You do solemnly swear that you will be true and faithful unto and support the Constitution of the United States, this state, and support the laws and Constitution thereof, and the Home Rule Charter and ordinances of the City of Cranston, and that you will well and truly execute the office of which you have been appointed, or until another be engaged in your place, or until you be legally discharged therefrom, so help you God. I do. Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Congratulations, Councilwoman. The next item of business we're going to we'll be covering will be public comment. Now, I remind you, this is public comment on docketed matters only. If any member of the public would like to speak this evening on docketed matters, please step up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and be heard.
Well, that was easy. Okay. All right, I guess my speech will be anticlimactic now. I knew Amelia was up for this position, and I wanted to speak on her behalf. Like I said, I'm 73 years old. I have never in my lifetime can I remember ever missing an election. I am definitely not a Democrat. I am definitely not a Republican. I am an independent voter. I vote for the person. I knew Amelia as an athlete, the way she handled herself as an athlete, the way she represented herself, her family, her school. She coached for me. I saw the role model, the way she conducted herself in front of her athletes and the role model she was to her athletes. She's intelligent, she's well-spoken and immersed in community activities. Like I said, I'm definitely an independent voter, but this is one young lady I will support wholeheartedly. I don't even know what party you are. Does she have a party? You haven't declared yet? That's fine, because like I said, I'm an independent voter, but this is a tremendous asset and a tremendous addition to the city council. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Would any other member of the public like to speak? I see the mayor is approaching the podium.
I'm not the mayor tonight. Kenneth Hopkins, 157 Kearney Street in Garden City, Ward 6. This is a good day for the city of Cranston. We're working together again. And that's the message that I want to give to you tonight. Welcome. Welcome to the city, okay? I've known her for a long time. She's a great athlete. She's a great coach. Traff, another coach. That's just what we need, okay? And we're going to worry about the kids for the rest of my term. So you're a great addition. God bless and good luck to you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public who would like to speak on agenda matters only? I'm seeing none. Tom, is there anyone online who'd like to speak on agenda matters?
I see no public comment online.
So at this time, I'm going to close public comment, and we're going to move on to our last item of business is just the update regarding committee membership. And it's a brief update. It's only concerning our newest councilwoman, Zeri. She will be a member of all 5 committees, okay, including the 2 that we're meeting tonight, okay? And it looks like there's no further business this evening, so at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed signify by saying nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Works Committee meeting to order on Thursday, September 11th, 2025 at 6:30 PM. Can I please get the clerk to take the roll?
Councilman Campiano,
Present.
Councilman Banano,
Present.
Councilwoman Baziri,
Present.
Councilman Andujar,
Present.
Councilman Haroyan,
Present.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Present.
Council President Wall.
Here.
Thank you. Approval of meeting minutes dated August 14th, 2025. May I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, can I get the roll?
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Baziri,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Councilwoman Haroyan, Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes,
Council President Wall.
Yes.
thank you. There are no committee business matters being carried over at this time, so we're going to head into public comment. Any of the public in chambers that wishes to speak on docketed matters only, will they please step forward, state your name, address, and you'll have a few minutes to speak at this time. Thank you. Seeing no one, I am going to ask to move to Zoom online. Tom, can you see if there's anybody who would like to comment?
I see no public comment online.
Okay, I'm going to go forward and close public comment for docketed matters and move on to new matters before the committee. First on the docket is petition of Narragansett Electric for installation of new poles and one anchor to accommodate new service on Skogani Drive. We recently received a letter from DPW Director, and he has approved this installation. So I'm looking for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, can I get a roll, please?
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Banano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Baziri,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Councilwoman Haroyan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
So the next item is a petition for Narragansett Electric and Verizon New England, Inc. for installation of new pole P 9021 and P 9020-50 on Wellington Ave. I've been made aware by the DPW Director that this was approved on August 14th, 2025, so no further action is needed at this time. We are going to move on to council communications, and the first item is President Wall for 45 Poplar Drive, and this is related to rat and rodent issues at the apartments. We're looking for update from the administration.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a little background before I allow you to step up to the podium. This is an issue that was first brought to my attention and also Councilman Bonanno's attention in April. Generally, the director will tell you that I usually bring some AV materials to some proof of the situation. It is an ongoing problem for the people who live in those two buildings that are at that address, as well as the neighbors around there. And last month rather, prior, I requested, and I'm so glad to see someone from inspections to enlighten us a bit. So I'm certainly would love to hear what you have to say this evening. You're going to go first? Okay, Director. Yep.
Council President, Anna Marie Marchetti, who's with us this evening, she'll be here in a second. Just wanted to personally be here to share any input that she has, take any questions, and thoroughly vet this. It's a significant issue that has been going on for several months. Anecdotally, myself, Anna Marie, and Gina Capuano were at that facility today. We just stumbled upon randomly, there were 3 residents who came out, spoke with us, and happy to report that they are reporting to say they do believe from that limited sample that the situation has greatly improved from particularly before. And I think one of them even said in the last 2 or 3 weeks haven't seen any activity, if you will. Not to say there isn't. But we perused the entire properties, if you will, and Anna Marie could explain it, but we first focused on is it Poplar Drive, that dumpster area, and then we kind of migrated over, to getting better educated into the around the corner at 125, I believe, Hillside, and then towards that sloped area closest to the former Applebee's. And inspected that area. Anna Marie was out earlier this week, I believe. She'll share with you. And yeah, there's a lot of rat holes, if you will. There's a lot of rat bait stations that are there. She has been working with the management company there. She's actually asked for documentation to show that the management company has contracted a pest control company, that they're actively and currently addressing and rebating the property. So I'll let her leave it to the details, but I just wanted to kind of set the table that her efforts. And we'll leave it to Anna Marie to come forward. And she is the best housing inspector that the state of Rhode Island has, and we're happy to have Anna Marie with us.
Hello, everyone. Any questions that you may have?
Well, I probably have a lot because I spend, but why don't we cover the rat hole issue? When I went out there, and the director will tell you, I was visibly frustrated after 3 months on the docket, on the Public Works docket. I went out there and I saw about 15 rat holes in front of one property and 5 rat holes in front of the other. And I want to know why they're still there, I'll be honest with you, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, even the state of Rhode Island, their rat mediation document for their inspection says rat, and I didn't bring it with me. It has to do with getting rid of their habitats, and I assume that hole is what you would call a rat habitat.
I did discuss with the management company. Yes, indeed, there are holes there.
Oh, your microphone.
I'm sorry. Yes, indeed, there are holes there. When I first received the complaint, started addressing the issues, worked with the management company. They do have a pest control company that's hired. They are the professionals, and go by industry standards as far as baiting and what materials to use. So that kind of started everything. They do have a company that comes. They have set bait boxes. I have been told that they will be reassessing the holes. They have to leave the holes open because of part of one of the treatments that they give for a certain period of time. And they will be reassessing that on the 18th.
So, and I'll ask you this, only because having read the Rhode Island guidance, and I don't represent that I am a pest expert. I've just what I learned on the internet and what I snooped around. When do the holes go? That's what I want to know.
Well, that would be up to the discretion of who the professionals are.
Yeah.
So as the city, we enforce the property maintenance codes
Right.
in regards to it. And they're very basic, that they're the minimum standards. So it just states that you can't have an infestation. So that's what we go by. It states you can't have an infestation. And with that, then we tell whomever the property owner is that you have to get a professional company
Right.
to come in and work throughout their standards to alleviate the problem. And they are making those steps.
And I'm not trying to be combative, but if the professional company the vendor, maybe they come from out of state, and they don't comply to what's within Rhode Island standards, I mean, is that something we look at? I'll be honest with you, the people who come through Garden City and they see those holes, they are not pleased. Being one of them. I'll be honest with you.
Right.
Can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
And I don't, I
Sure.
don't wish to be combative or to put you on the hot seat. That's not
Sure.
my intention. I'd like to know. The second property where there was a significant number, you must have went out after I had spoke to the director, I assume. A significant, that I took pictures. Had they done anything about those? Because I'll tell you the truth, there were less holes in the first property. There's two complexes on one
Correct,
property.
yeah.
There was a significant decline in the number of holes. So they did fill some in and they left 3 to 5 up. Did you check the second property? Because,
Yes, you mean midpoint between.
well, I mean, with the,
Right
like a
in the
month.
middle pot.
Well,
correct.
yeah, it goes
I've
all the
been
way
out
to
there.
where I believe, is it the rectory of the church next to it?
One property, the property along that goes along Poplar Avenue
Yeah.
is considered 43 Poplar.
Yeah,
The other property that goes on Midway, that fronts Midway, is 125 Midway.
now according to Vision Appraisal,
And they're
that-
both on the same lot.
they're actually the same lot on that
Correct.
thing and the same property, so that's what
Correct.
it was listed, and that's how I listed it on the agenda.
Correct.
So that's the information I have. So when I actually brought my visuals, I showed everybody what I wanted. So did you guys have a look at that?
Oh, I've been to numerous
Okay.
times to both properties. I walked the properties
Okay.
to see exactly what the situation is. And numerous times, there's been different holes. From what have viewed, the two main areas
Mhm.
are along that Poplar Drive,
Mhm.
where the dumpsters are, where that green utility box is.
Mhm.
And then in that middle area,
Mm.
between those two buildings. That seems to be where the holes are. I walked all the other property, I walked all around, we did not, Anthony, and Gina also were there for other sets of eyes to look to see for holes.
Okay.
I did suggest that in speaking for the management, in speaking to their pest control company, that they should maybe discuss with them putting some additional boxes out, but I did not see signs of holes on that other side.
And I appreciate that. So I'll relinquish my time because I don't want to monopolize it. But I could go on for a while, unfortunately.
I'm going to recognize Councilman Bonanno.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Ms. Marquetti, for being here. I might ask some questions that we already discussed on the phone. The purpose is to put it on the record, as I'm sure you understand. First of all, I want to say that, the issue was significant. And once the Director Moretti and the mayor's office got involved, it seemed to accelerate. So if we're looking at some positive, that's positive. I think Council President Wall, we had he and I and many officials had a meeting, and it began to accelerate after that. Council President Wall mentioned that the destruction of the habitat was, key in eradicating a rodent problem. And when I visited the property, and I literally do drive by it every day twice, to go to work and to come home from work. But when I stopped there, to me, the biggest issue was the trash receptacles. When I first stopped there, the trash receptacles were unable to be closed. They were situated in such a way that you could not shut the door. The door to the dumpster was basically jammed in between the dumpster itself, and the hinge couldn't swing up because it was too close. It's too close to the fence. When I went back a second time, and this is a few months ago, the dumpsters were made out of quite hard, but they were made out of resin. They were plastic, and they had cracks in them, and rats or some sort of animal had bored holes into the dumpsters. So even if the residents, and I'm sure there's human error, but even if the residents threw their trash away properly, the rodents could get into the dumpsters. And if the dumpster door was closed, the rodents could get into the dumpsters. So my question is, how has that been addressed? Has that been addressed? were they cited for improper trash? Were they given a chance to clean it and then they did? So what's going on with the trash receptacles?
The receptacles, they were cited, for the receptacles themselves. One has been changed out. One still, as I viewed today, still has holes and has broken parts to it. It does close. It was closed today and the area around it was clean. However, it does have a couple of holes in it. So I did reach out to the management company today. They said that a purchase order was placed with the company to replace it. They were gonna check with them again. That was done, she said, probably about 3 weeks ago. And they assumed that, that the company would have already addressed it, but they were going to reach out to see when exactly the company was gonna come change it. They didn't know if it was on back order or.
Okay. And it's not your fault that the trash company takes apparently more than 3 weeks to get a dumpster there. But, and wouldn't you agree that's not helping matters? So I think everybody would. So what is the mechanism for speeding that up as far as the city is concerned? There's, in my eyes, right, it's not acceptable that you've done your job properly. That is acceptable. It's acceptable that you've done your job properly. Once you do your job properly, it's not acceptable that it takes that amount of time for somebody to comply with what you've said. So how do we rectify that? That's gotta be.
We work under the state property maintenance code, and it's clearly outlined what the process and procedure is through that. And it's notification process, it's making sure everyone gets notified. After that, if compliance is not made, it's then continues on to municipal court for possible fines. Ultimately, our goal, I think, has always been to try and get compliance and work with homeowners and companies to achieve compliance, so.
I think, that is fantastic that that's how it should be done. Homeowner has an issue, you try to work with them and get it rectified. I mean, I would just say that at some point, especially with a commercial property, at some point, some of the leniency has to, be used within you go by the code to the book, and my concern is that because of that inferior refuse receptacle, we're going to start drawing rats from all over the place, and they're going to really live in that area. So it's not your fault, and I'm not saying it is. I think, like I said, once it accelerated, I think the inspections office has done a fantastic job. We had a great conversation about the property. But we gotta do something to make sure that an infestation doesn't reoccur after it's been eradicated. So I would like to see something done with those trash receptacles more quickly. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna just paraphrase here, and like offer my opinion, for Councilman Wall and Councilman Bonanno. So I think what they're both looking for is when you're citing somebody, you say, okay, I cited them on May 2nd, 2022. I gave them 30 days to comply. Okay, 30 days from that is June 2nd, 2022. And if they don't comply by that date, then you have an inspection and make a determination. I mean, I don't know if you can do that, but that is a practice that I do. So essentially, I create deadlines if you're legally allowed to do that. And those deadlines are set. So if they're lapsing from those deadlines, that would trigger then possibly movement to municipal court. I'm not telling you how to do your job. I'm just saying I think they want to hear dates and times. I think they want to hear that we issued it on this date. We gave you 30 days. They either met expectations or didn't meet expectations. And if they didn't, for some reason, you gave them 14 more days, and then what that date is, and then where you would actually draw the line and move them forward to municipal court. And correct me if I'm wrong, if that's.
I mean, if I may, at some point with everything, enough's enough, and I give credit to the inspections office and trying to work with the public and trying to work with things to avoid fines and ensure compliance. But you know, for years, we've been hearing about the rodent problem in Cranston, and we gotta, you know, we can't eradicate it totally as a city council. You can't eradicate it totally as an inspector, but we have to all collectively move towards doing something to eradicate it. And if we don't all do it, it's not gonna happen. So you're right. I would like to see some sort of, if you want to give leniency, hey, you know, good. If there's a good faith effort, you know, then, hey, use your discretion. If there's not a good faith effort, or, you know, I was a property manager for a while. Okay, the rent's due on Tuesday. All right, I'll have it on Friday. If I go there on Friday and it's not there, now I begin to get upset. You know, it's okay if we go from Tuesday to Friday, but once it's not there Friday, I begin to get upset. So that's all I'm trying to say, you know, at what point do we stop using that discretion? And I think with this particular property, we're probably at that point, my opinion.
President Wall?
I'm not going to restate what Councilman Bonanno said. And also, I appreciate the work you do. It has nothing to do with you, Ms.
Thank you.
Marquetti. But I think the system is definitely failing us right now. And if we're saying in June, we looked at their trash receptacles, and now they're almost done in September. We haven't fined them, cited them, brought it into municipal court. It's failing, because I'm not going to go into the biology of a rat again, but many litters of rats have been born during that time.
One of the dumpsters has been replaced. The other one, I can't verify whether it has or not. The hole has definitely gotten bigger. The first time I saw it, the hole was not as big.
I think, and this is what I'd say, and I don't want to sound callous, but in this situation, we've got a lot of rodents in our area. I'm not telling you news. Perhaps we're being too kind to some of these commercial properties. We don't cite them. We're not making it so, like, they couldn't get a new dumpster. If I needed a dumpster in my home, they would drop one off in 5 days. And they're a client. So I think maybe we got to pull them into municipal court quicker. And I don't know if you need ordinances that are stronger or something like that, but it doesn't seem to be working.
Well, there again, like I said, we work under state property maintenance
Right.
code, not under city ordinance.
Well, I'd like to also work with the solicitor to find something stronger, whatever we have to do, because it's all well and good, but listen, I think we probably can agree that these people in this room have heard me say this stuff since June. And we're I think we're both saying the same thing. It's kind of done, but it's not. And it's not your fault, but it is unacceptable.
And also that would be as far as the dumpsters, as far as
That's
the
just the
rodents,
dumpsters.
right, that's the dumpsters.
That's just the dumpsters. That's just the food
dumpsters,
source.
Because as far as the rodents go,
Hmm.
they are addressing the issue of the infestation by a licensed professional pest control company.
But on one hand, and I'm not gonna, like, one hand, they're saying, I'm killing the rodents in their habitat. And the other hand, they're saying, but I'm leaving the buffet open so new rats will come in. They're coming. Listen, they survived millions of years almost unchanged for a reason. They'll find their food source. We got to make it a little more difficult. So if they get a hole, I'm done being sympathetic to they can't find the dumpster. The people around them are not sympathetic. We're not talking about Mrs. Smith, who's on a fixed income. We're talking about a pretty significant company. Find them, pull them in. I mean, if you need better, I'm all for it, and you'll see this evening later on, creating stronger ordinances, you know, and hopefully it complies correctly. You know, I'm sure I'll talk to the solicitor on that matter. But I appreciate everything you do, and my frustration, as I often mention to Director Moretti, it's not directed at you, but it's still frustration.
Not taken
And by the way,
personally.
that frustration comes to me in emails, phone calls, if I see someone on the street. All right, and I thank you. I have nothing
Thank
further.
you, that's.
Councilman Andujar?
Ms. Marquetti, thank you so much for your service. I mean, you're doing a great job over there. The only question I have is, why are the trash receptacles or dumpsters, why are they plastic? Is that just
There's-
something?
I have no idea. They're standard dumpsters from a dumpster company.
And now I think I could ask this question. Do you feel that on a commercial site like that, there should be an ordinance or a law that requires them to have something more like steel?
they're the same dumpsters that are, at many businesses. They're your standard dumpsters.
Thank you again for your service.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Director Moretti, go ahead.
Yeah, just perhaps that last question, I'm not sure, Director Correa was here. I'm not sure if he has any expertise as to the materials, if you have anything to say.
Director, if you could just state your name and address.
In case you don't know who I am, Frank Correo, Director of Public Works. It's a great idea to have an ordinance where you can put that requirement on the businesses. Obviously, it's got to be less expensive to go with that composite type material, and that may be why they're doing it. I'm not aware of any other reason why they would use plastic versus a metal dumpster.
Thank you.
Director Moretti, did you have anything else?
Yeah, and speaking with Ms. Marquetti, they have been cited. They've been cited for the infestation. And, correct me if I'm wrong, please. I believe she feels as they're making a diligent effort to remediate the problem with the infestation. She said that realize this department doesn't have the expertise. They have, these are licensed contractors, licensed road control people, just as if there is a building going up, a skyscraper, any building, that our inspections department, not necessarily the engineers and the experts in the field, but they rely on the engineers, the proof that the construction is to code. And so that's an analogy to say that she needs to, as long as it's a valid, legally licensed company, she has to rely on that. So, because they are not the experts, just as if our building inspections people, our building officials are not necessarily the expert on various types of construction, but they require the outside contractor by the applicant. And she has cited them for the infestation, and she has cited them for the dumpsters. Apparently there has been the one fix, and it is frustrating, absolutely. If the other one is cracked and has not been, it's getting to the point of why not, like you folks are identifying, but you have her word that she is following up. And I believe she mentioned that there's a purchase order to have that installed. So I'm sure she'll be on top of that. Another thing we observed, and then we heard from the neighbors, what exacerbates the problem is the neighbors in the area walk their dogs, and there's dog feces there, and we witnessed that someone wraps their bag and they throw it towards a dumpster. And it's not the management company, it's not the people, the residents there, it's the neighbors who makes the problem worse. So you can't, every time a dog poop bag goes down, you can't necessarily can't expect anyone to be out there immediately monitoring dog poop. But they get out there, and the residents do, and the management company. So I have some empathy to the situation. But unfortunately, Director Bernardo said human engineering is very, very difficult.
Director Moretti, do you guys do like social media and communications? Because I actually have sheets already made up on dog poop. So I can send them to you about people cleaning it up if you guys want to put it out on social media.
Councilwoman, we'd be very happy to hear about your dog poop.
I'll send it over. Curious. It's a big thing for stormwater and the rat issue. And so we've made up flyers that can go out into social media.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
Okay, enough of
I just
that.
want to, may I say one more thing? Just to get off the dog poop, I don't know. I do, want to say that without Inspector Marchetti's involvement, I don't think this would be as far along as it is. Even if we're, debating whether or not it's far along enough, without her involvement, it would not be as far along as it is. So that needs to be applauded. And the conversations that I had with her, extremely competent, and willing to cite and willing to try to get something accomplished. So, while we are all frustrated, I think that's not mutually exclusive from you doing a good job and being here. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Next item on council communication is Councilwoman Haroyan and Graziano. We are looking for update from Director Correo on the Budlong Pool.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and welcome Councilwoman Pizzari. You'll have a lot of fun, I'm sure. Yeah, I do have some positive news. It may not be as good as dog poop, but I do have some positive news relative to the pool. As I spoke last time, we were moving along quite well as it relates to the interior of the building. They are continuing to put up all the toilets, the partitions, the painting, the flooring is done. They're working on air conditioning units and heating units, and everything along that area is moving well. We do anticipate that the completion of that interior facility will be done by the end of this month. Now, as it relates to the exterior of the pool, we've been moving along. We were able to get to a point where we started the excavation for the pool itself. But just like anything else, we did encounter a differing site condition. We found a small layer of peat, which is an organic material that's underneath where the pool is going at the deep end. And as a result, it's a very unstable soil. So we did reach out to the engineer that's on the project with us through Caputo and Wick. We had them take a look. They hired S.W. Cole, which is a geotechnical expert. They reviewed it. They've come up with some recommendations. They have since given us those recommendations. We've worked with those. We've concurred with what they're proposing. And what we're doing now is we're working with the contractor to give him that scope and to receive a price from him to continue that excavation so that he can remove that peat layer, bring in some additional material, and then continue with the actual construction of the pool itself.
Are they going to be doing any geotechnical borings or no?
Well, there are no borings. You don't need the borings because when we're doing an excavation, you could actually use the excavator to open up a pit and you could see the soil layer, which is about a 4 to 8 inch layer of peat. For some reason, when they built the original pool, that must have been what the original ground was to some degree, and they just covered it over. We didn't encounter it towards the deeper end where we excavated where the deep end of the pool was because that was at a 10-foot excavation, so that material came out. But right now, that layer is at about 6.5 to 7 feet below grade.
Great. Are you guys still on track for next spring completion for outside?
Yes, yes. We will be swimming by July 1st. I won't be the first one in the pool because it's a little cold for me, but there will be people there.
Wait, it's not heated?
We'd have to check with Director Moretti on that.
Okay, so did you have a final date in the spring? You said end of April. Is that?
No, that's when we're going to begin because the work that has to take place then is really going to be the tile work and the plaster on the interior of the pool, and that's temperature sensitive. So depending on when those temperatures are, and I believe it's around the 40 to 50 degree range, that's when they can do that. And then we have to put water in it immediately. That helps cure that plaster. And then they'll continue to do the flat work above the pool, which are all the aprons.
Director Moretti, I've gotten a couple questions with regards to the budgeting. Can you just, for the record, confirm we're all set monetarily with the completion of the pool and funding?
Yeah, good question. I believe I mentioned it at a public meeting. These change, what's happened, what they ran into because of that aqueduct in this peat, if you will, this peat issue, likely these change orders are likely to cause an excess need for funds to the extent I don't have a number, but that's what the director and the finance director have indicated because we're asking that same question because it was very tight. So we are assessing it. It's not in the millions of dollars, and maybe Director Correa can actually give an advance heads up to all of us as to what it may run at this point, pending no further major change orders.
Yeah, right now, we're running at about 8% change order for the project, so about 8% over budget. There is plenty of money in the current pool of money that we're utilizing to continue with the construction of the pool, but as we get closer to the end, as we get to do some of that materially finished work at the end of the project, yes, there will be a need for some additional money to be able to complete the pool.
So we are currently, the administration's waiting to know where we stand. That's being assessed at this time.
Okay, so right now you have 2 change orders.
I wish.
Uh,
There've been several change orders, some larger than others, but yeah, as we've been going along, we've been encountering a number of differing site conditions or unknown conditions that are above and beyond what the architect would have been able to predict. Just for example, right now, we're approximately at $400,000 worth of change orders.
Wow,
Just
that's,
to give you some order of magnitude.
thank you. I appreciate that.
So, given that, I wish I had the crystal ball to say what else are we going to encounter. With the interior of the building, they're pretty much done and set. We don't anticipate anything else with that, but as we go forward with the pool, if we can just get out of the water table and get to the construction of the pool, everything else should be relatively known because everything is pretty much above ground at that point. So it's just construction of the pool and backfilling and everything, which is already accounted for in the contract.
Okay, so some of the questions I get, thank you, I appreciate that. Some of the questions I get are like, this was, and don't forget I wasn't here last year, but like some of the questions I get are like, this was funded by ARPA and that money is supposed to run out by the end of the year. No.
Yeah,
So I need to be corrected on that.
Sure. I'll say the budget or the allocated approved funds, $4 million in ARPA funds and $750,000 in a federal congressional grant. And those are the two funding sources. So hearing what we have now, we're going to be asking the finance director to see, do we have any, to answer that last question, ARPA funds need to be used by December 31st, 2026. I believe the last person who spoke on that publicly was incorrect to say 2025. So he'll be assessing all the ARPA projects. There's been several projects that have run under budget. We don't hear about those so much. But the finance director will be tasked with determining what his recommendation is going to be for in determining where available funding could come from. And we can certainly need to and should be keeping you advised.
Yeah, I think the council would appreciate being advised where the $400,000 is going to be coming from. So thank you. So up next is, I added the splash pad, here just to so everyone can comment on how they feel like the public outreach meeting went. I apologize, I wasn't there. I had kid stuff. But I would love to hear how everyone think it went and what you believe moving forward.
Yeah, sure. I sat next to you in spirit at last night's meeting, Councilwoman. It was an excellent meeting in the sense that the input was pretty unanimous, pretty much so. Certainly a strong consensus of the two young people that spoke in the audience, and except one person in the audience was opposed to a splash pad.
Opposed to a splash pad, period.
Period.
Okay.
And would rather just have a pool. There was an adult in the public supporting the pool because of supporting the splash pad at the Budlong pool, given the infrastructure that's there and amenities that are going to be there. such as the bathhouse that will have lockers, showers, toilet facilities. And the Councilman Andujar certainly would like it in Ward 3 as he expressed, but I'm paraphrasing that he understands, it to be the logic for having it at the Bud Long Pool Complex. And then there was, other than that, it was pretty much unanimous support from the other members of the council. And also two young ladies, like about that high, were in favor at the Bud Long Pool. That was the public input. No one was online. So it was sparsely attended. But in a way, the takeaway was a strong message that it will be an extension of an adjunct to the Bud Long Pool. And I think in the several selling points where we're going to have a water park virtually between the pool, the splash pad, and it's really going to be a wonderful facility and very family oriented, because the targeted age groups, as the director of Parks and Rec indicated, that target is typically age 4 to 12 for the splash pad, though any of us can use it certainly. So we really envision, the mayor really is happy with the input that we received, and that's going to be the answer. But to have it there, again, we talked about, we have already built in the amenities that I suggested. So cost-wise, it should be the most affordable in that sense. There's $250,000 allocated in ARPA funds. We don't know for I'll say the construction of the pool, the toys or the apparatus and the electronics have already been purchased. I think the number was in the 125,000 plus or minus range, and those paid from ARPA funds. So depending on what the bids come out at, we'll see what the cost is. And also, if you think about it, if this was at a separate location, staff probably require incremental staffing, whereas staffing is already at the pool in terms of supervision is kind of built in. So we'll have a very nice water park complex at Bud Long. And in the timing of that is that there was foresight with the pool, actually, to say that someday the vision would have been to put a splash pad abutting it. So it's already included in the cost of the pool, if you will, I'll say the plumbing and the electricity, the connection, mostly the plumbing, to be able to just connect to. So the infrastructure will be there to just add the splash pad to this. So what we anticipate is having the pool and the splash pad open at the same time.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Anyone else? Councilman Andujar?
I just want to say for the record that the fight isn't over yet. We have a new councilwoman, and the residents of Ward 3 and especially around the stadium area are going to solicit heavily Ms. Vizzeri for her support to move the splash pad over to stadium. So just want to let everybody know it's not over yet.
Okay. Councilman Capapiano?
Thank you, Chairman. You already have a splash pad. I want to circle back to the pool just for a second. After we discovered so many issues with the ground and the foundation of that pool, it's no wonder why we had so many problems with that pool for so many years. I'm happy to see it being addressed and addressed properly with modern technology to get this done so we can enjoy it many years to come. So it was the right decision to take this and take it and make it new and go forward. So I want to thank you for all your work.
Correct. And again, the biggest problem was the groundwater is significantly high there. It's probably at about 4 feet below grade. When you had a 10-foot depth for the pool that was there before, that's a lot of water pressure on that pool that was built in the late 30s. I don't think they ever believed or encountered what the stresses would be on that type of pressure due to the water. So yeah, right now we're accommodating that. We're putting in French drains. We're putting in some pumps. We have well points out there, hopefully to try to control that water level and to try to reduce the pressure of that water against the pool.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay, anyone else? All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion
So
to
moved.
adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say
Aye.
Aye.
aye. Opposed? Okay, we're adjourned.
Ordinance will begin in 2 minutes. September 11th, it's 7:28 PM. I would like to call the Ordinance Committee to order. Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Councilman Campiano,
Here.
Councilman Banano,
Here.
Councilwoman Bazari,
Here.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Present.
Councilwoman Haroyan,
Present.
Councilman Andujar,
Present.
Council President Wall.
Here.
Thank you. Approval of minutes. I'll look into entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the August 14, 2025 regular meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Clerk, may I please have a roll?
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bazari,
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Haroyan,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Thank you. At this time, there are no business matters carried over. I am entering into public comment. Is there anyone in the crowd that would like to speak? Please say your name, address, and I'll give you 4 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman Andujar and members of the Ordinance Committee. For the record, my name is Robert Murray. I'm an attorney with the firm of Taft and McSally at 21 Garden City Drive in Cranston. I'm here tonight on 2 matters. The first one is a housekeeping item. Pursuant to your rules on ordinance number 8-2501 regarding the housing court, I did send a letter to the committee at the appropriate time. I just asked to be made part of the record pursuant to your rules if the committee sees fit. So the letter speaks for itself. I have nothing more to add on that. We are here principally tonight on ordinance number 7-2506. which is a change of zone application and petition for property at 1764 Cranston Street, 1746 Cranston Street. Let me take a step back and welcome Councilwoman Vaziri. I'm not as old as Councilman Trafficani, but I am getting there. And when I worked in the—
You're not as young as me either, just so you know.
I understand that.
All
But
right.
when I worked in the mayor's office in 1980, I dealt with your great-grandfather, Frank Gaglione, and your grandfather, Mike Megadichin, and I obviously know your mother as a fellow attorney, so welcome and congratulations. So I just wanted to extend my best wishes to you. The ordinance before you this evening is a change of zone for the property that is owned by the Aceto Family Trust. It's in Knightsville, pretty much across the street from the Eatery Park, which we've all come to admire, and as a new and exciting part of Knightsville. We are here tonight asking the city council to rezone a parcel of two lots, lots 282 and 287 on Plat 11, from its existing zoning, which is C5, which is a heavy business industry zone under our zoning code, to C2, which is classified as a neighborhood business zone. Principally, the intention of the owner and applicant before you this evening is to develop this longstanding vacant property for multifamily housing, specifically condominium use. And because that's not allowed under the current zoning, we're asking the city council to rezone it to the C2 designation. With me this evening, there are two. The property owner is Aceto Family Trust, and I can't see on the board whether that Scott Aceto is joining us. He's out of the country. It's the middle of the night where he is, so I understand why he might not be here. But with me this evening is Richard Bakari, who's one of the applicants. Mr. Bakari is known to this council and the city as principal of Churchill and Banks, a well-respected real estate development and property management company. And he is partnered with the Aceto family to bring this project to life if the city council approves the underlying zoning tonight. I also want to note with me this evening is Eric Zuena of ZDS Architecture and Interiors. Eric is one of the most dynamic architects in our state and region. And I was just complimenting him earlier. I noticed he's just been selected to redo the Rhode Island Airport, his firm. So he's worked on many great projects, and he's excited about working with the Aceto family and Mr. Bakari on this project. We have some slides on the screen which we're going to call up. Eric's going to speak to you in a minute, but while we're just as a prelude to that, with your permission, Mr. Chairman, could I just pass out some graphics that are on the screen there? Councilman Bonanno could share those with the committee, and I have a copy for both the administration and the city clerk. It's a series of 3 slides, which we're going to talk about in a moment with Mr. Zuena. But let me just back up for a minute. Before we came here this evening, Mr. Bakari and Mr. Aceto embraced the idea of having a neighborhood meeting with some of the neighbors. And on August 27th, we invited everybody within the radius of who will get notice for this meeting to come to St. Mary's Feast Society Hall. And we had a good turnout of local business people, some property owners, a few elected officials, some planning commission members, and it was a good exchange of information and comments and ideas, all of which hopefully we'll be able to incorporate going forward in this project. So Mr. Bakari and Mr. Aceto were there, as well as other members of the Aceto family. I can't do justice to the history of this property, but the Acetos have had this property. Scott Aceto's grandfather and grandmother bought this property about 50 years ago. And there is a 4-unit mixed-use building on the site. right at the northwest corner of the site along Cranston Street. But the rest of it, it's a total of about 89,000 square feet, is largely vacant. It is bordered by Cranston Street to the west, and to the east, the Washington Secondary Cranston Bike Path. And on the opposite side of the bike path is the industrial zone I refer to as Murad Street, Calder Street, Palmer Avenue, a longstanding industrial zone. So this property, there are other C2 properties in the area, and I have a zoning map. I think it was part of our submission. If you need it, I can also share that with the committee. Why don't I do that? As you're looking at that, we have, you can see the dark purple is the industrial zone, and the peach or pink area is the area zone C2. So the use, that zone is in the area. Most importantly, under our city's comprehensive plan, the rezone of this property to the C2 would be consistent with the comprehensive plan. You have before you from the Planning Commission a positive recommendation on this zone change. We appeared before them on September 2nd, and was well received that evening by the Planning Commission, and they voted to send a positive recommendation. This is an opportunity to bring new housing, obviously, into the Knightsville community. I don't want to go on about the need for housing, but this is an opportunity to take this property. There's been opportunities to develop this for, industrial or heavy business uses, which the Aceto family has kind of resisted because of their long involvement as stonemasons and their history in the construction business. They envisioned this someday to be developed for housing, and they were excited to partner with Mr. Bakari. The existing 4-unit mixed-use building on the site today will be integrated into the ultimate development. And the slide before you on the screen, that first slide, is a conceptual plan. We are asking your permission in the ordinance to build up to 36 units, including the 4-unit building. So it'd be an additional 32. What you're looking at there is one of Mr. Zwaina's basic concepts. There's about 30 units on that one, plus the existing 4. So the zone change, and I just want to run through them quickly. This is zone, we're proposing to rezone it to C2, but with conditions. This is very similar to what the city council, previous councils did on the Cranston Printworks, where we kept the industrial zone, but the council rezoned it to allow the multifamily apartments that are soon to be blossoming at that location. It's very similar to what the council did with the Knights Corner project across the street from the Printworks, where the city council, it zoned industrial, and you gave permission to build up to 160 apartments on that site. So there is precedent for this to work with we're going to retain we're going to rezone it to the C2, but with the following conditions. One, that we can build up to 36 units, including the existing building. We are asking you to allow us to utilize the dimensional or intensity regulations that are allowed in the C3 zone as opposed to the C2. The reason for that, for development of the site, there's a little more flexibility in the C3 zone, particularly with respect to front and side setbacks. So that's part of this ordinance. We're going to provide 2 parking spaces for every residential unit on the site. But the most significant portion of this ordinance for your consideration is the applicants have in consideration of allowing the density requested here is to provide an affordable housing component of up to 15% of the number of residential units. So that is something that has been welcomed by the city's Housing Commission, the Planning Commission, the State Housing Plan 2030 is really pushing Cranston towards I think the goals are going to be very hard to achieve, but increase the number of housing units and the number of affordable units. So this is a project where the developer is not being, we're coming forward and offering that up to you as part of the overall approval. The last thing I'm just going to say is the rezoning tonight is just the first step. Well, obviously, you'll recommend to the city council, hopefully. The adoption by the city council at the end of the month would be the first major plank to make this happen. We would then have to go through the city planning commission as a major land development project like all other projects. So it's more than 9 units. It would be a major land development. And that's when we would get into the detail to take Mr. Zuena's vision and Mr. Picari's vision tonight and really put the pedal to the metal and make this happen. So this is just the beginning. You're a critical part to it. We hope you support it. And with your permission, Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to ask Mr. Zuena, just because there are a couple other slides there, he can talk about the European villa concept we're trying to create here. With your permission, do you have questions? You want me
No, I think we will do that when we present your case.
I think if
Bring
you
him
let
up.
him speak,
Yep.
we're done. If that's all right.
Ask questions later.
Yeah, that's fine.
Good evening. Eric Zuen, I'm Managing Principal of ZDS Architecture and Interiors offices in Providence, Rhode Island, and Washington, D.C. ZUENA. Before I jump into the project, I just want to say that this is, really humbling to be working on this site for a number of reasons. But, grew up in Cranston and Knightsville. My family, my father, West Bay Medical, who's a surgeon here for my entire childhood growing up. Me and my 3 brothers all graduated from St. Mary's School, all got married at St. Mary's Church, and we're all really happy with what you guys have accomplished in Each Square. It's really, really impressive. So you guys should all be very, very proud of that. I've been visiting the feast every year since I was a little child. This site, though, and also my father was a partner in the restaurant right next door to this site. It used to be called Luciana's Restaurant, and that was named after my grandmother. And my first job was at a dishwasher there. And I used to stare at this site on my breaks, trying to figure out, why it was vacant for so long. And, here we are. So it's really an honor. So thank you. This site plan was done with the help of Dupree Engineering to just lay out very statically and very conceptually what the density could look like, which we think is very reasonable for the size of the lot. Churchill and Banks with ZDS, we played around with these 6 buildings, trying to get the right organization to make sure that we were doing a couple of key things that we think are important for the success of this property. One is to not make this feel like very standard modular looking row houses that all look the same, but instead to create a village environment that was peppered with great hardscape, landscape, lighting, great arrival points to create great senses of arrival for guests of people who own these properties. Obviously, we'll have a great sense of ownership, and people will be using these as their personal residences, but also using this neighborhood as a very pedestrian-friendly commercial corridor where they can, enjoy great perfume and cologne next door, plenty of pasta bolognese, all great food opportunities up and down Cranston Street, but all the great amenities that this small Knightsville village has. So we wanted this to feel very pedestrian, and this sketch or this site plan doesn't do it justice because it's only a conceptual plan. So all the gray color that you see representing what I would consider various different types of hardscape just looks like a lot of asphalt. So I don't want you guys to think that that's our intent. I think it would be best if we went to the third slide. I asked Mr. Bakari if he would allow my team not to just present a simple site plan, but also give us an opportunity just to give you a very, very loose, very conceptual idea of what this could be. And some of the things that are happening for us in our studio when we're developing these sketches very quickly is, we want this to be very welcoming to the general public at the street, at the sidewalk. And this existing structure that's there is going to allow us to do that, because there will be some sort of public, small, light F&B experience, maybe a small marketplace, something that will allow people coming and going from Eaton Square to walk up onto a front stoop, be welcomed. Maybe even, I look at the flower shop just 2 doors down, but just think of that kind of, sprawling retail opportunity on steroids at this existing building. That's going to be a wonderful welcome sign to the general public, but also the synergy through this space as a pedestrian from Eaton Square to the bike path is also something that we think is one of the key things that need to be accomplished to make sure that people feel welcomed through this site. And these 30 units all, again, not trying to do just very modular, straightforward unit after unit after unit, but you'll notice in the sketch that there's varying heights, there's varying textures, there's a language here that represents what we would call a European villa or a European village. And we think it's perfect for next door to Eaton Square, where obviously it's not yet perfect. In my mind, it's perfect, but we'll make it perfect together with your support and feedback and the community's support and feedback. And Mr. Murray mentioned we started talking to the neighborhood members and had a meeting, and it went very well received. And we look forward to your feedback too. From a materiality standpoint, not your typical vinyl siding and shingle roof, but instead, a stucco or parged facades, decorative shutters. The slide right before this is sort of just giving you some imagery that talks about the placemaking that we'll be doing with exterior materials, hardscapes, landscapes, lighting, and things of that nature. So I can get caught up in more details of what this property means to us and me personally, but instead I'll stop there and try to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the public that would like to give public comment on docketed items only?
Good evening, Nicole Renzulli, 54 Massachusetts Street in Cranston. First, I wanted to say congratulations to the new councilwoman, Amelia Vizieri. We have worked together in the past in coaching, and I look forward to working with you as a planning commissioner as well. Tonight, I am here in support of the Housing Court Proposed Ordinance 82501. I'm here not in my capacity as a planning commissioner, but just as a resident of the city. And I appreciate this forward-thinking approach because I believe the specialized court would help streamline the enforcement of the current laws that we have and reduce the burden on our general court system. I think in my experience in the past as a councilwoman, every year when we do the budget, we do see that the fines that come out of the housing court line are very minimal. And I don't think that is due to a lack of effort, but because our current system lacks the infrastructure and the tools to adjudicate and enforce the current laws that we have on the books. So I think that Anne Marie needs some more help in inspections, and the court needs some more help as well with a dedicated focus. I do want to note that while I do agree with the core framework of this ordinance, I think refinements do need to be made to align with the state law and clarifying what we can do with our city charter, the jurisdictional boundaries, and ensuring fiscal transparency, and that all the money does go through the finance department. So I do think that this will help us with affordable housing and holding corporate buyers of housing, which I believe is 1 in 4 houses are now bought by out-of-state corporations. I think that will help us commit to safe, affordable living for all of our residents and also help the departments, the hardworking people in our departments. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience? Mr. Clerk, is there anyone online that would like to speak?
Chris Popolowskis.
How you doing, sir? Please state your name, address, and you have well, you have all the time in the world. Mr. Representative, thank you for chiming in. You have yourself muted, Mr. Representative.
Do you have me now?
I got you. We see you loud and clear.
Thank you, Chairman Andy Uhar and honorable members of the City Council. Chris Peplowskis, State Representative for District 15 in Cranston, and I reside at 14 Highland Street in our great city. Before I get going, I'd also like to extend best wishes and congratulations to the newest member of the council, Councilwoman Vaziri. Look forward to working with you in my capacity as a state rep, and anything I can do to help you or the other members of the council, please feel free to reach out at any time. I'm here to speak in favor today of ordinance number 7/2506, which is the presentation you just heard from Attorney Murray. As someone that represented the Knightsville neighborhood for a decade, I wholeheartedly support this project. The fact that it's coming from two great developers, one, the Aceto family, which is a legacy family that has vested roots in Knightsville, and Mr. Bakari, who I'm sure we've all seen his projects over the years. This is really going to be an exciting opportunity to bring up to 36 units into that neighborhood where we do need some housing. What's great about this project is all the work we've done in the area recently with East Tree Park and making the neighborhood more walkable. This is going to fit right into that wonderful neighborhood that we have there. So I won't take any more of your time. I just want to say that I'm in full support of this ordinance and look forward to that Italian villa style apartment that we saw on the screen there. And I think it's going to be great for the city. So that's all I have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Representative. Mr. Clerk, anyone else online?
There is no other public comment online.
At this time, I'd like to close public comment, moving on to new matters before the council, before the committee. We're going to start with 7-25-06, ordinance and amendment of chapter 17 of the Code of the City of Cranston, 2005, entitled zoning. This is a change of zone for 1746 Cranston Street. May I entertain a motion to approve?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Campobono. Campobiano.
Thank you, Chairman. Let me start by saying I am 100% in support of this ordinance. I attended the community meeting that we had at St. Mary's Feast Society, and I was blown away by the energy and the whole proposal was absolutely beautiful. It's a wonderful addition to that area, the way it backs up to the bike path, the architecture, everything. And to address the issues we have with housing, this is a wonderful way to address it. It was well thought out, and it's got some great history to it. So I love the idea, and I just am looking forward to this coming to fruition and seeing it to its completion. I do have one simple question, and we talked about there may be some commercial aspect to it. I don't know, coffee shop. Would we have to go through another change or anything? Would that go in with this same ordinance?
No, through the chair, under the C2 zoning, the neighborhood business, there are probably 30 or 40 individual uses ranging from barber shops to coffee shops to variety use. So we would anticipate any mixed use in that structure would comply with the existing zoning. So it will be part of the permitting process with the planning commission, but if the council rezones C2, I don't anticipate having to come back here.
Perfect. That makes it even better. So thank you very much for effort. Thank you for the time you put into this, and I'm looking forward to come true. Thank you.
Mayor Trafficante.
Bob, I want to first of all congratulate you and your team for having the community meeting first. more contractors did that, they would avoid a lot of headaches in the future. But I want you to know that I am totally supportive of this particular project. Since I represent Ward 5, I like the fact that you put a lot of thoughtfulness in the development of an atmosphere of a village type atmosphere. It's going to go well in that particular area. And like I said, if you need any assistance in the future from the council members, I'm certainly going to be there to support you in this project.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Graziano.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Andujar. I have a few technical questions. So I'll first start with the easy stuff. I want to say thank you. I do really appreciate, we need more housing in Cranston. There is no question we need affordable housing. I fully support the intent of this. But this is 2.1 acres. You need a NIPD's permit with the EPA. So, because you exceed 1 acre. So I'm wondering, this is a concept plan. I would like to hear a little bit more about how you plan to manage stormwater on the site.
Well, I'll give you a non-technical answer, but I've been doing this a while. As you know, Councilwoman, we have not yet gone even to the master plan stage. That will be issues. I don't know if Mr. Correa is still here. Those are legitimate issues which we will have to deal with through the planning commission process. The RIPTES permit you're talking about, I agree we would need one. Those we would be required to produce those at a preliminary plan stage, not even the master plan. But if the zone change goes through, I think the Mr. Bakar and Mr. Aceto's plans are to turn everybody loose to get this going. So the development of how you're handling stormwater and things like that are all legitimate questions. It's a little premature tonight to answer it, but it's something I know we'll have to deal with.
Okay, because you're going to have to keep everything on site. It can't be, okay, you can't have any illicit discharge into the town system. I'll just comment and say, I want it on the record. I'd like to see green infrastructure if you're going to do this max amount of units. I know I'm sure you're going to want to use subsurface infiltration systems in order to achieve this amount of density, but I'd really like to see some type of infrastructure, green infrastructure, rain gardens. You can infiltrate your roof runoff. It's clean. You don't have to meet the total suspended solid numbers. I would also like to see some landscaping be native to Rhode Island. That would really impress me. And I would use it as an example in my in my PowerPoint presentations if you guys did that. And then just a quick note, the traffic study will be done at the planning board level. Okay, I'm gonna come to the planning board meeting and say all these things again.
Councilman Bonanno.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Zuena went down memory lane a little bit, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say that when my family came here from Italy in the late 1800s, they settled directly across the street at 1755 Cranston Street and built the house that stands there now in 1925. They moved a house from the street back. That was Nehemiah Knight's Tavern. My mother sold it. It was owned by my great-grandfather, my grandfather and his sister, and then my mother, and my mother sold it in May. I could tell you a lot about the history of that particular site. It was a business called Atlantic Tubing, where they made copper and plastic tubing, and then it was a dump for a very long time. And I remember as a little kid standing out on my grandfather's porch looking at this really old washing machine that's gone now, but it was there for quite a few years. So this is a vast improvement over the whatever washing machine was there for a very long time. This has been a vacant property for many, many, many years. And I'm glad to see that the spirit of the neighborhood is continuing. I wish I was, I think I might have been left off because of open meetings laws, but I wish I was able to come to the meeting at St. Mary, or I missed the email. I wish I was able to come to the meeting at St. Mary's and hear more about it in greater detail. But I am also intimately familiar, probably more than any other block in the world with that particular block. And I'm really happy that this is going to be improved in this way. I know you guys have a lot of homework to do, but with the team that you guys have there, I am extremely confident that you're going to do it and do it right. And based on the renderings, what an improvement. As far as the technicalities of it, of the zoning, the property that my mother owned, and family members before that, it was zone C5, yet there was never any heavy commercial there across the street. This is the exact sort of same situation. I don't know why any of the properties along Cranston Street are zone C5, because you have mixed use with multifamilies, with another mixed use with probably 19 restaurants and 77 hair salons all along those, none of it's heavy. So this absolutely passes not only the test of what planning recommended, but it also passes the common sense test. And I really applaud you guys for bringing this forward, and you will have my support. I do have a couple questions I'll probably bring up at the full council meeting, but at this point, you have my vote. Thank you.
Councilwoman Haroyan.
I will be in full support of this tonight. I just have a question. I'm a little clarify here. Is this condos that people will own or apartments some will rent or mixed both?
Condominiums are planned, will be the form of ownership. And not rental apartments. Right now, it'll be condominiums.
So it'll all be condominiums
Yes.
and they'll be purchased, not as rental properties?
The plan is to build them and sell them.
Councilman Ritz.
I'm not a member of this committee, but I'll just make a quick comment. I think this looks fantastic. Thank you guys for doing this. I think it really fits with the area, and I think it really will boost up the area too. So thank you for doing it.
Any further discussion? Well, Mr. Murray, I have two concerns that I'll ask at the council meeting. The first one is if you could define affordable housing versus subsidized housing. So that's just something that you could talk at the council meeting. And as you heard in the DPW meeting, the trash, like what are you using for receptacles and all of that? So I'm pretty sure at the full council meeting, you'll address that. So that's just, I wanted to point that out, but may I entertain a motion to approve? We have that. Clerk, take a roll, please.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Baziri,
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Haroyan,
Yeah.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Motion passed. Next, we are
Thank you very
on.
much.
Next, we are moving on to 82501. But before we go that, I'm looking for a motion to enter into record a communication from Mr. Murray and communication from a fiscal note from our finance director, Zadelis.
So moved,
So
Mr.
moved.
Chair.
Clerk,
Second.
Clerk, please take a roll.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Baziri,
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Haroyan,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Moving on, now we're moving on to 82501, ordinance and amendment of Title II, Chapter 40 of the City of Cranston Code of Ordinances 2005, entitled Municipal Court, sponsored by myself, Councilwoman Graziano, and Councilman Banano.
Yes, thank you. At this point, I would like to make a motion to continue this until the next ordinance committee meeting for two reasons. One is I think Judge Koya, who's in charge of the municipal court, has previously engaged tonight, and he would like to be here to speak on it. And I think that's a prudent move. So I would like, and in addition, I believe that there are some things that the sponsors need to get ironed out that we'd like to improve about this ordinance, make it even better. So I would make a motion to continue this until 9/22, where we may or may not have a special meeting, depending upon what the council president
Councilman,
wants.
can I suggest that you say tentatively, because there could be a little flexibility in that.
Okay.
Say it that way.
Yeah, so tentatively 9/22 with final approval lying within the council president and the chairman to call a new meeting.
So moved.
Second. Clerk, any discussion? Clerk, can you please take a roll?
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Nazari,
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Haroyan,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar.
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Moving on to 25-02, ordinance and amendment of Title 8, Chapter 8.36, Section 50 of the City of Cranston Code of Ordinances 2005, entitled Duty of Owner Upon Receipt of Notice, sponsored by President Wall and Councilman Bonanno. You have the floor, Mr. President.
Thank you. You see, there's been a somewhat of a theme this evening, inspections, housing problems, things like that. We had a great presentation. Basically what I did is I took a look at the current amendment, and I'll tell you why. And if we take our current situation with just the property we're speaking of, it would look, if I'm looking at the ordinance properly, we would only be allowed to cite this commercial property, an out-of-town commercial property, one time. And you don't have to, unless I'm reading the ordinance right. What I did is amend it to make the fines come along a little more rapidly, maybe give them a little more incentive to come in line. So if you look, I amended it in the second paragraph of 8.36.05, where it once said, if the premises were not in rat-proof condition or still in a condition that may permit rat infestation, the owner shall be fined accordingly in an amount no more than $50. So if I'm reading it correctly, and I'm sure the solicitor can help me with that one, if I'm reading this correctly, this situation that has been an ongoing situation just in front of the Public Works Committee since June, approximately, oh God, almost 4 months. We would have fined, it's no wonder they don't do anything. We would have fined them $50, if I'm reading it correctly. So I just didn't think that was up to date with what I would say is the issue before us. So I amended it to say per day until the Director of Public Works or designee determines that the premises is in a rat-proof condition or no longer in a condition conducive to rodent infestation. So all of a sudden, although I know they make a great deal of money, there's a little bit more financial incentive to fix their garbage, their dumpsters, so the rodents don't have a consistent food source, to get their professional rodent killers in, for lack of a better term, So be honest with you, before we cited them, the people who lived inside that building and around that building complained consistently. And that would complain not to us at first, but also complain to the owner of the building, which we're not party to. At that point, when I became involved and Councilman Bonanno came involved, then the ball started rolling. But that ball is slow. And the truth is, I think a little financial incentive may be a good thing. On the bottom, I also added, I crossed out a little bit there, and you can see if the rodent infestation is not eradicated within 30 days, the property owner shall be cited and made to appear before the Cranston Municipal Court, which is hereby authorized to impose fines that shall not exceed $500 per violation. I see that as a pretty strong, maybe not earth-shattering, but a strong, strong incentive for them to do right by the neighbors. That's who I represent, and that's why I put it forth. It's pretty plain and simple. I'm making the fine stronger now in my ordinance, and I don't know. I hope all of you will consider supporting it. I know the neighbors in the area would be pleased if you did.
Councilman Bonanno.
First of all, thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to thank the president for including me on this ordinance. We worked together on the particular issue at the property we talked about. Time and time again, we're all here for these meetings, and time again, we've heard from the solicitor and the administration about, we got to do something about some of these fines. We got to do something about some of these ordinances and make them stronger and more modernized in order for them to have teeth, in order for some outcome to come out of the citations and whatnot. And this is step one in doing that. So, this is, like I said, the first step in many of some stuff that we're going to do, hopefully, to modernize and to make the fines more in line with the offense and to incentivize compliance. Because when you say $50 over 30 days, 1960, whatever, when the charter went into effect, or when the code went into effect, that was a lot of money. It's not so much anymore. So I think, we're headed in the right direction here, and I hope my colleagues will support this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you for that presentation. May I entertain a motion to approve?
Before we do, I love, Council President, I love where we're going with this, I really do. I just want to make sure, as I'm reading it, I think we need to be on the same page, because paragraph 2, if you will, from 35 to 39, speaking about rat-proof conditions, and that's a separate fine. And then the following paragraph speaks about the infestation, if it's not eradicated, and that's a different fine. And I think we kind of have to be on the same page for that, because I wouldn't want, for instance, inspections to go down there and say, yeah, it looks like everything's done and it's in rat-proof condition, and yet they haven't been able to fully eradicate. And then it turns out that that's a defense that they've made it rat-proof, because that's added in the second page. So I just think the language needs to maybe be tweaked a little bit. Consistent? You're saying that they're not consistent from paragraph 1 to paragraph 2?
Yeah, because in other
We
words,
use the same term.
in page, whoever, this was written, God, I don't have the notes of when this ordinance was originally written, but it's probably a while, and it's probably years. Page 2, a finding by a municipal court judge that the owner has made the premises a rat-proof condition shall constitute a valid defense. So if someone comes in and says, my concern would be if someone comes in and presents to a judge and the judge finds that it's a rat-proof condition, then the language from 40 to 45 kind of might fall under that, because that's talking about eradication. Do you see my problem?
No, I do. If I did, and it looks like it's a handful of words, like in the second paragraph, it says, if the rodent infestation is not eradicated, if you substitute the word, if the condition is not made rat-proof.
I think we need to just stay consistent. That's what I'm saying. If rodent infestation is not eradicated, I think that language should probably say it is not rat-proof, because someone's going to come in and say, wait a minute, I was here 20 days ago and Judge X said that it's a rat-proof condition. So I have a valid defense from any fines. If you go to the valid defense, it just, the language needs to be just consistent, and that's all. The fines, I got no problem with the fines. I welcome what this is trying to do.
Through the chair, if it's okay. Do you think this is something we can fix here this evening before we vote on it? Or is that something we could?
I think my suggestion would be to pair this with the ordinance that we just put over to potentially the 22nd, not just have it on the same calendar if we're going to have a calendar.
Fair enough.
And we can tweak, I can work with inspections and just tweak the language just to make sure we're all on the same page. The fines, I have no problem with that issue. It's just more, I don't want someone coming in and saying, wait a minute, you told me it was rat-proof, but therefore you're trying to fine me for eradication. I just think that needs to be just cleaned up, just un poquito.
No worries.
If that's okay with the chair and members of the committee.
I mean, we're still in presentation, Councilman Bonanno.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, and I think you've addressed through the chair, Attorney Malay, I think you addressed it. Like, what would you suggest? But your suggestion is to hold up a minute, work with inspections, and just clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, just
Councilman Bonanno, just so that the language is consistent throughout, because we jumped from the language being rat-proof condition to eradication, and it's technically two different things, but the defense then falls under, the affirmative defense falls under, you've already been fined for rat-proof, so therefore, does that mean eradication? And we might need to just add some language or just keep it consistent throughout. That's
I
all.
understand. Okay, thank you.
I entertain a motion to approve.
You having an emotion either way.
Has there been a motion to approve?
You're right. So I know the director, is the floor mine? Or is it direct?
Please, we're still in presentation.
I would be amenable to continue this to the next ordinance committee meeting, be it a special meeting or the soonest one. If the solicitor would be amenable in a short time, we'd be able to take care of it by the next scheduled ordinance committee. It's just simply, I'm sorry, Tony. It's just simply rat proofing would be different from rat eradication. You I understand. may have everything tidied up and be
No,
perfect.
your points are well taken.
Yeah, and that's all I'm just concerned with.
I got it.
The fines and everything is fine. So I, for one, would be amenable to a motion to continue. I don't know if my co-sponsor feels the
Yeah,
same.
no,
way.
I'm good. with that. I just don't want it to go like, like I said, if we say the rent's due on Friday, we're gonna have it by Friday. So
I think the proper motion is to withdraw the motion to approve and I have a motion to approve to continue it.
Motion to withdraw.
we
And
don't
now,
have, we don't, with all due respect, Mr. Chair, we don't have a motion. Oh, so we can simply, I'll make a motion to continue to the next, whether it be special or regular ordinance committee meeting, tentatively scheduled for 9/22. I'll make that motion.
Second,
any discussion? Councilwoman Graziano.
Sorry, I wanted to ask a couple questions. So the maximum amount they can be fined, so if they're getting fined $50 a day, it only goes up to $500?
No, the maximum amount that the Cranston Municipal Housing Court can impose is $500. The Director of Public Works can issue fines $50 a day. So if you totally ignore it, it's until you
But what
stop ignoring it.
$1,000 when you go to municipal court, they can only require.
It's two different sets of fines. The municipal court can only assign essentially, through the chair, I'm sorry, $500. And then the $50 a day is separate, and that's imposed by the Public Works Department and Building Inspections and Code Enforcement.
Okay, and then my second question is, do we need to define what rat-proof condition is?
I think that's what Attorney Millet was talking about, and that's what we're gonna clean up for the next meeting.
That could be contentious in court.
Sure, agreed.
Okay, I'm good.
Councilman Campombiano.
Thank you, Chairman. You stole my question. So it's $50 a day to infinity, with these fines?
Until they, well, I mean, I'm reading it here, $50 per day until the premises is in rat-proof condition.
Right, so it could be
So once you
$50.
inspect it, yeah, well, right now, we're 4 months in. By the way, $50 a day, he might have changed his dumpster.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's a property that's been abandoned or they're in the nursing home or something, and this can go on to infinity with these $50 a day, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could, kind of like, not to make an analogy, I'm speaking out of turn. Do I have, I shouldn't be answering.
By all means, Mr.
Through
President.
the chair. For instance, when we spoke of Lawnaker, there's back taxes on Lawnaker since 1991. That Lawnaker Drive property. It goes until those figures are still going. Fixed it. You know what? I think the bottom line is I have less sympathy for a commercial, especially a commercial property that's not taking care of business. So I mean, that's the way I felt. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have no sympathy either. I just was curious, the way it's worded, it's into infinity that they can keep fining $50 a day. And if the property owner is not there, or if they can come back and owe $2 million. I'd like to hear from, I was hoping to hear from the Director of Public Works on this, but since he left, I'd like to hear from Anne Marie and Zoe, or either Director or Anne Marie, either one, about how they felt about this and if they felt it was enforceable and if they felt it was a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I can't speak on the Public Works Director, but in the ordinance, perhaps one of the amendments that, could be made is it fall under inspections or Public Works? If Public Works right now has no authority to impose fines, or it's not what they do. So it's a consideration that might fall under the inspections department. Though Public Works has their, has our road control program, which is independent of this also. If you'd like to hear Anne Marie, any comments that she has, sure.
Floor is yours, Madam Inspector.
Glad you came tonight.
We're trying to give you as much FaceTime since you're here for the first time, we're trying to give you the most FaceTime before the council.
Okay,
We're gonna
thank
really
you.
fill it out. I just wanted to know how you felt about this ordinance. You feel it's enforceable and the step in the right direction, or if it needs any work? What's your thoughts?
Unfortunately, I'm just getting to look at it very quickly this evening. And I was discussing with Attorney Malay that it should be under not inspections, but under, as it is there, the Department of Public Works and Rodent Control, because the professional is Mr. Qualley, who has the position now, who is Rodent Control.
I'm confused. So who imposes the fine? Is it from Public Works?
It would have to go through Public Works, so a manner of enforcement would have to be figured out for that.
Okay, so we have to.
Or addressed. There may be something already on the books.
Okay, so we'll have to address that. And seeing that this is continued, I guess it's a good thing. I look forward to your input and your colleagues' input on this to
Thank
make
you.
this the best it can be, because I'm hoping we're going to go through one time and do this right, because this definitely is a step in the right direction. So I look forward to seeing this at hopefully the special meeting and get more input from different department heads and get this done. So thank you for bringing this forward, and look forward to getting it done. Thank you.
Councilman Bonanno.
I was good. Councilman Graziano had a question. I was waving at her.
Just to answer that, it says or designee, which would apply to anyone Public Works designated. So they have the power to designate someone to issue the ticket. Sorry, I wanted to clarify that.
Councilman Bonanno.
No, I didn't hear what she was saying. Like I said, I mean, while I agree that the language should be cleaned up, I think we're definitely in the right direction. And for as long as I've been paying attention to politics in my adult life, rats have been an issue. And, we heard it on the campaign trail in certain neighborhoods. So, this is a good way to start to put some teeth into the issue. And like I said previously, many, many times when we're talking about this, whether it's full council or special council meetings, many times when we ask the question, well, what can we as a council do about X, Y, and Z? The answer from people who know the laws are update your laws. So this is one of the things that we're trying to do here. So I welcome the input of everyone, and I hope we can get this better. I hope it doesn't stall either. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Well, I like to add my 2 cents. I really like this ordinance. I just feel that it should be stronger, and it should be $500 a day. If you own a 30+ apartment building, $50 a day, 30 days is $1,500, which is nothing, but $15,000 if it was $500 a day would be something. And I believe that they would act a lot faster. As far as the inspections part, I believe it should stay in inspections, and maybe somebody from DPW should just visit the site, basically inform the inspections that it is road and proof or it's not road and proof, and fine. So I believe we can work all together in that. And at the end of the day, it's, you know, quality of life for our residents. I mean, they pay taxes and we should be able to, in turn, to give them a good quality of life. So at the present time, we have a motion to continue. And also before I end, I'm pretty sure what Mr. Trafficante, Mayor Trafficante is thinking that we should have people writing these for us, right, Mayor? Yes, okay, so I said it. So we have a motion to continue. Clerk, can you please take a roll?
Councilman Campiano.
Yes.
Councilman Banano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Nazari.
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Haroyan.
Yes.
Councilman Andujar.
Yes,
Council President Wolf.
Yes.
motion continue. We have no council communications. Now I guess we're gonna adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nay? Ayes have it.